For now, for me more ha, me sama wakwaba Edem daily update TV so. And then I will share na what subscribe a patcho any day cause not subscribe my YouTube channel no. Or notification bell so 10 biano YouTube more alert no. Me dey make catch say me patcho 10 bia borem. Because ye adwuma de sumi ati for ne ahwe for 24/7. Mensa na ye man warning chenchirin Kesi pa. Obega say Mensa dey na waya ye man warning. Yeka Edem agbana wozo credit to Wzato TV. Abra aserin ketia ema press conference speech ni we no Edem agbana Ketunov member of parliament for NDC elected aspirant. Na the akosone say Mensa abra na aserin nketia ema speech no. Osi he repeat when it comes to the removal of indelible ink in the omontiasie, and also stand as say indelible ink, you know, tiasie, no penman constituency. Mensa should be very careful. A T for a daily update TV so because Mensa indelible ink, no almost set example say Saudi we free ma a bit me call so a double voting. Was it idea no it's very important in our voting system. Even a year Afarijan recently on constitutional day no or kasakra or kasa about the poised changes of our voting system, which means unnecessary changes. And Afarijan said voting is very important. It's very crucial to every country. So when it comes to voting, there should be transparency and free and fair election. Because na Edem agbana MP elected for Ketunov aspirant NDC. Say kwabana eba na so obeto aba machine ntimi and verify now verify manually. Na obebiem say wan to aba na insist here. Because obetima ga say nyo no omba ha. There is nothing like indications which you show us wato. No nchire machine so manually obetima insist. Obetima insist ebia na ni pedin se etifo na hwe why daily be ekotie ene no warning an ye de maji Mensa no hwe no to tuni nima because this 2024 the people are tasty and hungry for power. Because previous government of Nanado and Baumia government now the people are really fed up. They need change, totally change, absolutely change. It's a boy rema kuti no, and some na Edem agbana MP elected for Ketunov. Na yentuan commodities about Mensa and near the conduct of Mensa. Ama a year Afarijan, the former EC boss, Abekasa about the misconduct of her. Mr. Yemon Mammy and Papa, Nyankuti Mra for comment to show mammy. Na Yamra metuan commodity in sopa, Yamisho Bibia, no Bibia Kesi. I daily updates.
Allow that to happen, and so the system is fair. We are not stopping anybody.
Let's look at issues on the removal of indelible ink during elections. It's a proposal that was done by the EC. Now they make the argument that look, once we have a biometric system in place, this will check whatever fear people have with double voting and what have you. You don't agree. The NDC seem not to agree with it. Listen carefully to your party chairman as well. He disagrees, and they want it to come back.
Since 92, elections in this country have seen various changes or reforms. Recall when we started, we did not even have photo albums. So before each election, we have had some improvement made to the process. Now we have colored albums. Initially, when it moved from no photo album, it went to black and white, which even made identity a bit difficult. Then we moved to having the photo albums with the colored photos. Then we have what we call now the biometric system, where even without your voter's ID card, you can be verified. But there is a reason why in the 2020 general elections and even 2016, in addition to the biometric, there was a provision made for manual verification. It is because you and I agree that technology could not be 100% trusted, especially in our jurisdiction. There were times that a whole center, the biometric machine refuses to function. So in those instances, the people in that area the opportunity to exercise their constitutionally mandated right, which is the right to vote. So the provision of the manual vote verification was made for those people. So when you are introducing changes or a certain reform to the electoral process, this reform ought to be aimed at improving the process, not to complicate it and send us back to a situation where it becomes easier for criminals to take advantage.
But the BVDs should be able to do all of these things, Edem.
And as
once you are verified, it goes through the system.
That's what I'm saying, that as we speak, for many of the areas, many of the voting centers, the biometric verification device did not function all the time.
So we should rather channel our energy in ensuring that they function.
And
let's
so you
ensure
cannot trust that process 100%. So what is the reason that would occasion the removal of the indelible ink? Because one of the surest ways for people to know whether or not others have voted is the indelible ink. And so when you go through the process and you have that mark on your finger, it is easier for anyone to know whether or not you have voted. Now you remove that. Imagine somebody that there's no indelible link in the elections, okay? Then you get to the center and you are unable to verify biometrically, so you are verified manually. What will happen when that person comes back and accuses the election officials of not allowing him to vote? Because probably it is possible, because we are dealing with human beings and people could not be trusted 100%. You have a situation where it is possible that in the absence of Randy, Edem is verified, so Randy is verified so that Kwame could vote on his behalf. Now Randy comes and says that I have not voted, but it is marked there in the register with a pen, which is the manual verification that Randy has voted. Which other way can we verify whether or not Randy has voted?
Through the ink?
It is with the ink. The EC should not go there at all. They failed to do that during the district assembly elections. But on this platform, and as my national chairman has said, let Jane Mensa and the Electoral Commission dare not, let the EC dare not remove the indelible ink, because we will not accept. I am a parliamentary candidate. I'm a stakeholder in the elections. I am very interested in what will happen in the election, and I will not allow for elections to be held in my constituency without the indelible ink. What problem is she trying to solve with this? Why Jane Mensa sets questions for herself? There are many other challenges with the electoral process. Why do you want to remove it? What is the reason? What sense does it make that the indelible ink is removed? For what? What challenges does it solve with the process? Does the indelible ink contribute to rigging of the elections? Whose interest does she want to satisfy? Who is she trying to please? And why is the MPP happy with this particular proposal? Let Jane Mensa know that we will not let her plunge this country into chaos. And all those pretentious CSOs and supposed elders and people who claim they love this country and they want peace for this country, the likes of the Peace Council, the various religious leaders, if they are interested in the peace of this country, they should be speaking to Jane Mensa that this proposal to remove the indelible ink will not be accepted by the NDC or any of us as stakeholders.
Well, hold on to that for me. Let me take some other excerpts of what the chairman stated in his press release. He says that we strongly call for a special program to replace lost voter ID cards in the places affected.
We saw what happened.
What happened?
Where in some polling stations, men in uniform, people who belong to the police service, the military, aided the NPP to rig elections at those centers. They intimidated voters. In the Wată region, for example, in the name of supposed claims or attempts to prevent Togolese from voting, they intimidated people, loaded polling stations in the Wată, so Ketu South, Ketu North, with military men, and intimidated our people from voting. And so when you check the data, voter turnout in these areas were quite low. Why? We have said, we've seen it in Techiman North. In Sefiri also, At the time they were counting the last polling station that would have granted the NDC victory, the ballot papers were snatched away and were replaced later. And all these things were done with the help of the security agencies. But we are sending a clear message to them that the tables will turn. And before the tables turn, let the police know, let the security agencies, and I have said that we have some very, very good police officers in this country. We have some very good military men in this country. But within the last 8 years, President Akufo-Addo and his government have recruited some miscreants into these agencies, and they are the ones that they use in causing these troubles, and they bring the entire reputation of the service into question. And so we are saying that in 2024 we will not allow the security agencies to intimidate our voters. Let the security agencies be fair to all the parties, and let them know that there is a certain boundary, certain limit beyond which they cannot cross, because the people are angry.
But if the security agencies are supposed to do their job,
your job does not mean you protect the party in power. Your job is to protect all Ghanaians, is to ensure that there is fairness. Your job is to ensure that there is security for everybody who walks to the polling station to vote.
Is that what we've been seeing all this while? Is that what we've been enjoying?
We've seen it. We know what they do, and that is what they did in 2020.
And how will you rate?
What led to the death of the 8 people? These 8 people were not shot by vigilante groups. These 8 people were not shot by people who were not known. These 8 people were not shot as a result of a confusion or a fight between NDC and MPP. These 8 people were victims of assault by our security agencies. And so we are saying that in 2024, the NDC as a political party will not tolerate this attempt by the security agencies to intimidate voters. Let every Ghanaian feel free. Let every Ghanaian feel at peace and have the conducive environment to vote. And we know that at the end of the polls, John Dramani Mahama will emerge victorious.
So talking about this whole issue of insecurity, intimidation, we saw we'll be discussing more of that. We'll take a look at some of the things, but he touched on the district level elections, as I mentioned earlier. He spoke about the issues of the removal of the proposal to remove the indelible ink during elections as well, the challenges he feels that this will come with. He also spoke about printing firms and then their challenges. He spoke about insecurity and intimidation of voters. Then the issue of returning to IPAC. The big question I want to ask Edem this afternoon: why the U10? I thought the NDC will never go back to the IPAC again, but let's see what pans out in the coming days. But let's look at some of the things he stated again, and I'll display that pretty shortly on the screen. So Edem Kitia says that we will not congratulate anybody who murders Ghanaians to win power. I think this is coming from on the back of what President John Mahama stated, was it yesterday? I'm sure, yeah, it was yesterday. And then he also said that they will fail in their attempt to hold on to power, and we will take over the governance of this country, and the nation will remain peaceful. They will fail in their attempt to hold on to power, and we will take over the governance of this country, and the nation will remain peaceful. These were the words of Johnson Edwin Ketia. Again, he says that the wisest thing for NPP ministers to do now is to start preparing their handing over notes. The wisest thing for NPP ministers to do now is to start preparing their handing over notes. So these were some of the key highlights in the statement released by the national chairman of the NDC. Edem is still here with me. Let's have some quick bites on all that he has said so far. I mean, as I said, too much talk?
No, it is not. I think we need to congratulate the leadership of the NDC for this very detailed press conference at this time. This press conference heralds us into a year of action. It's one that speaks to the fact that as a political party, we will not allow the Electoral Commission or any agency to take us for granted and deprive the Ghanaian people the kind of leadership that they are ready to vote for. And so we must congratulate the leadership. Going into the specific issues, let me begin.
So let's take it one after the other. I want us to tackle the district level elections, what he spoke about.
Yes.
We started this conversation on the party. And he just confirmed that indeed the NDC swept most of the seats or the majority seats as far as that level of election is concerned. But I am more worried that would this bring or would this augur well for the local level elections?
No,
I think that was the last thing we were talking about.
That's what I said earlier, that it has always been like that, that on paper, this election is supposed to be non-partisan. But the stark reality is that the key players in there, the people who are contesting the elections, they know themselves and they know their political affiliations. And so when you have the NDC as a political party coming out with very comprehensive data based on the electoral areas or the various assemblies and telling you, giving you a breakdown that these are the number of people who won, who were affiliated to us, then you can be rest assured that indeed as a party we took keen interest in the elections and we know what we're talking about. Till today, Nanabi, who claims that they won 57%, we have challenged him to come out with the data and tell us, because you know why he's afraid to do that? When he, for example, he comes out with Ketu North and says maybe they won more than 6, that is where we will hold him to account and tell him that who are the more than the 6 that you have won. But because they know that they have lost majority, they deliberately just churn out the data without necessarily backing it with any fact or figures. We even have it on a pie chart, and we want all Ghanaians to see that information is already out. So for me, I don't think that it will do much. There is still a debate as to whether or not we should move into the era of electing these assembly members, the unit committee members on partisan basis. Yeah. The last time it was raised, NDC as a political party, our position was to oppose it, and that is why we called for the referendum on it and all of that. But the MPP, the party in power, did run away from it, and they decided to drop the issue. Again, with regards to the district assembly elections, it is important for us to know that the district chief executives, the municipal chief executives are appointed by the president and mostly are appointed from the party. Now they will go and preside over these assemblies and municipals, and they will work together with the assembly members, knowing that it is important for you to take keen interest in those you put there, because they are going to form the assembly. They are going to be the legislators at the local level. Yeah. So as a political party that is interested in making sure that we raise governance to the pedestal that every Ghanaian will be comfortable with, we must be interested in the quality of candidates we have going into the various assemblies. And so there is nothing wrong when, as a political party, I take an interest in who becomes the assembly member for us in each electoral area. And the data proves that again, the NDC won majority. This is good news for us. This gives us some kind of confidence that indeed, moving into 2024, the NDC has no option than to win the elections.
So I was going to ask you, with all this claim that you have won the majority, so would this translate into the votes in 2020? I mean, in December?
We will even do better in the
general elections.
In the general elections, because I mean there are factors. We have analyzed some of the areas that we even lost the assembly, as in our NDC affiliated candidates lost, and it's due to factors. For example, when you come to my constituency, I'm citing specific examples. You go to a particular electoral area called Belikope in the Joje zone. In that Belikope, 4 people contested. 3 of them were NDC. And when you add the vote of the 3 NDC affiliated candidates, they got more votes than the one who eventually won, who was pro-MPP. So again, when you go back to Belikope, you have all these 3 men who contested going to join you to campaign and you are now presenting one candidate with a united front, there is no way the NPP will be able to beat us in that electoral area. So I believe that this is even just a signal. It's only symbolic of what is yet to happen. However, we are going to perform better in the general elections.
But won't this also eliminate people who might not be affiliated to any of these political parties, who would want to contest at that level?
No, the system is fair, and so it will not eliminate you. When you come and you want to contest and want to be an assembly member and you want to be an independent candidate, and you believe sincerely that
it's no memo bibi akwa ba sado ba daily update TV so na just say enene yakoti Edem agbana ti ye ba beto enkomodi so Mensa obega say ora Mensa wa den Mensa free kojo pp anase mfie pete pp na wa ye nsem bebre e bia na wonte ye de bedun koma e bi ni say abrai organa ha as EC official, you EC chairperson, you are a neutral officer for the nation. Because Abraham School government, the Electoral Commission is a neutral body. When they give the characteristics of they take decision on non-behalf of they take decision on non-behalf of any political party. These are the characters we learn. The characteristics of an electoral commission we learn at school. Electoral commission should be neutral. Now, Mensa, since our election system now, there is no sudden changes of a year from our electoral process. No, in one in the removal of indelible ink, according to the speech officer, I see they will oppose. It's very, very, very bad. Removal of indelible ink. Oh, come on. Even a year constitutional day, that was Monday. Yura Aferijan Air Kassan, when he was given the platform to talk, he talked about the Electoral Commission, the misconduct of her. Say, you cannot just change things unnecessarily like that. Go have some meeting with a group of people, then you say you have changed, you are make changes to our voting system. And NDC press conference, they will oppose, they insist of removal of indelible ink and closure time 3 p.m. Hi, daily update is in command and also non channel or Osaka said, when it comes to our voting system, and him say a year Omanpenyi Muhammad or burying a clear bury according to Edem Agbana, the rescue mission burying. Now the act of Mensa is getting out of hand because Abrana Afreja Ekasanze, when it comes to election, I tell you, my election idea in here on my money, election can call for doom, election can cause anything at all. Where imagine NDC opposition 8 years, 2020. You do know it was rigged. They rigged the election 2020, but Mahama allowed Akufo-Addo to go. So with this time around, the election is going to be very serious. Now currently, the rumors and things circulating is about a defense minister threatening NDC that he will use their opponent as an example for NDC. You see, these are all the strategy NDC is trying to put in. Sorry, MPP is trying to put in place. They want to rig election. They mean it. They mean power. NDC also mean power. So there should be transparency in this election. Because this election, na ankasa aye kono. E wase niema mu da ho. Finchem Mensa hweye, because Edem Agbana say you can let chaos drop on this country. You let democracy that we are enjoying, it can go waste. Ebetimi say because of your misconduct. And as national chairman for NDC say they will oppose, and he took a decision with the national chairman. He is also a victim. He's a stakeholder of this election. So, or also, so he stand on the speech of Esidin Kesi, or no super refuse, and he dares not make she dares. So because there was a more humusu, dares no say more humusu. The Mensa men bomusu kra say obeyes BBC ni BBC. Let us hear me. One in a comma Mensa no uncle will be an as any day castle with me share not to na kwan because election way election she pa do na any day chirito no. Mensa moment I daily update TV so and then I'll share. It's also be subscribe my YouTube channel no because this year the more updated so me for because election year just enema in some day be because we painting. Men ma rent fees and as a men twu free into so be subscribe na share na unyan so enye bi ahwe na just say daily update to be say daily update TV so ku bi aba almost tie for 24/7 tembia no buru ma news ahodo different enkan so da no oso buru ma on sabeka bi na wahwe na wahia ma me na just say afoforo enso enye bi ahwe so say and then so and our VP man subscribe the more trending, more updated by menu home film now also should be a share for our comment section. Mensa and send a warning say on she na oman and name munaho because this election is a very serious stage and this is a do or die because they have learned their lesson now which means they really mean power this time around. These are the in some better upon so yes so yeah there's some like and share my nyami show bibiara say ojebre na ekuti no. See you for the next coming video. God bless you. Nyami show bia omo bibia nkwa omo ahode omo ekwama omo osika na otimi tembia timi show daily update. Nyami show God really bless you. We appreciate your time, everything, your support, God reachable, your comment, everything that you have been doing for us. We really appreciate you. God really bless you. Extend your territory. Amen.